Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the LeverX webinar series, a free educational service offered to SAP customers to inform and demonstrate SAP functionality and industry best practices to improve your business performance. Our webinar today is entitled Customer Case, Sustainable Innovation in High Tech with SAP. This webinar will provide an overview of SAP's solutions supporting sustainable product innovation. You will also hear from Paul Carlson about how EMC Corporation began its journey towards sustainable product innovation, leveraging some of the key SAP capabilities. My name is Ralph Davis, Marketing Manager at LeverX, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we begin our topic, let me briefly introduce you to LeverX. LeverX helps companies increase business value by leveraging existing investments in SAP solutions.
What I will cover today, as indicated by Ralph, is really to give you a quick insight on how SAP supports sustainable innovation in the high-tech community, so in our high-tech customer community. And this will really also give you an idea on what are some of the key innovations that we have come up with in the recent months to help you support driving innovation and new product introductions. Let me start off with a couple of trends that we see in the marketplace that, of course, have some impact on our strategy at SAP, on how we develop our solutions going forward. And everybody knows that today the customer or the consumer is very much empowered and has lots of choices to pick his product from different participants in the marketplace, right? That's one thing that we see, and there's lots of very consumer-oriented needs there, and one strategy to cope with that is to really drive your innovation in a way that you're really driving it from a consumer's perspective, that you take into account social media aspects, like what is the feedback on the social media, like at LinkedIn and the Facebooks and the likes and Twitters. So where do you where's the customer going? What are his needs? What are his pain points with regards to your or your competitor's product? Really, you want to be able to cope with that and take that into your innovation funnel. And this innovation funnel should be managed in a very targeted way. So we talk about consumer-driven targeted innovation as one of the strategies for success.
Great. So again, thank you, Ralph. Thank you all for inviting me in here today to talk about our use of some of the products that you've heard here at EMC and how we're using it in our development world to drive and sustain innovation. Just first, you get Paul Carlson. I'm part of this project called Propel, which is the SAP Business Transformation Project that we kicked off here at EMC about 3.5 years ago. I'll talk a little more about that coming up. Been at EMC a little over 13.5 years, so I've seen the company change, and I've certainly seen our solutions change that we've been using as well. Again, in this deck, I'll first have one slide just to give a little background about EMC for those who are not familiar with us. Then I'll talk about this project, Propel, which is, again, this SAP project. More than really an ERP project, really an ERP, PLM, a true business transformation effort that continues today, actually in a next phase that I'll mention at the end. I'll then spend most of the time talking about our deployment of PLM and SPRC as well, touching upon, again, I think a lot of the themes that Ulf mentioned around the focus on a global development, managing dynamic compliance to dynamically changing product regulations, and with the focus that all of us have today on sustainability as well. And then I'll close with just a slide of kind of lessons learned, really key takeaways from the effort that we did to roll out PLM and SPRC. So the next slide just kind of gives a quick summary. I won't spend much time on it. It's about EMC. Again, for those who aren't familiar with us, we are the leaders in bringing together the kind of the intersection of cloud, big data, and trust. And you can kind of see a lot of the numbers here about the company itself, its size. We are the market leader in many areas, as mentioned here. Number one in market share for external disk storage. Number one in purpose-built backup appliances. We continue to take share, looking back in 2012 results. And, certainly last and certainly not least, our shareholders love EMC as well, given our 5-year share price growth has exceeded most of the major indexes out there. So again, the company is market leader, healthy and strong, and continuing to grow as we move into, the latter parts of 2013. The business drivers that EMC faces really set the context for the remainder of this. When I started at EMC 13 and a half years ago, it was a strong company then, but it had a different focus. It was really focused on a single hardware platform, one that had changed the industry, one that is actually continuing to change the industry today. But we've certainly changed, as you'll see. We had pretty much a direct sales model only, an in-house small manufacturing base, and really the challenge was only to continue to keep up with growth. EMC of today is, much different. Again, that product that transformed the industry and made EMC continues to be the leader in transforming that marketplace. But as well, we've diversified into many new businesses. As I mentioned, we're the leader in security, the RSA acquisition of a few years ago. We emphasize a real balance now across our direct and indirect sales channels. Our global manufacturing supply base is key. We certainly have a very, very strong in-house manufacturing capability, but we leverage the world as well from a supply base, from a contract manufacturer. And that has certainly influenced our choices of ERP and PLM solutions as the company's changed.